All right, I would like to welcome the class of 2020 to the Occupational Therapy Assistant Pinning Ceremony. This ceremony has been around as long as the program has. And so if you think about it being 1996 to 2020, that's 24 years of pinning OTA students. And the pinning ceremony means a lot to occupational therapy practitioners. For us, it serves as a welcome to you all, the graduates, into our profession of occupational therapy. You proudly wear your pin to demonstrate that you are embarking on a career as an occupational therapy assistant and to serve as a reminder to enter the profession ethically and make a commitment to lifelong learning. At this time, your president, Dr. Fagan, would like to welcome you all to the ceremony.
Makes you feel somewhat a little special there, right? Well, first, I bring congratulations from the Navarro College Board of Trustees, our chairman, Mr. Phil Judson, vice chairman, Mr. Todd McGraw, our secretary-treasurer, Mr. Richard Aldama, trustees, Mr. Buster Atkinson, Ms. Faith Holt, Mr. Lawrence Seeley, and Mr. Kim Wyatt. They want you to know how extremely proud they are of you, both individually and collectively. Extremely proud of your overall journey, but extremely proud of the last few months of your journey, what you've been through. There's no playbook that we could have been given or you could have been given to navigate the last few months. This is new for everyone. And the skills, characteristics, attitude that you exhibited during this time, quite phenomenal. Secondly, I want to thank our health professions administrators and faculty, again, for what they've done, not only through your whole journey, but the last few months. It would have been very easy during spring break when we made the decisions to extend and then eventually transition as much as possible to an online environment for many different feelings and emotions that were all very valid to take over and keep us from accomplishing our goals. I'm so proud to have colleagues that they themselves stayed motivated and true to the profession to ensure that you completed your goals. Because as you graduate from our program, there won't be an asterisk by your degree, by your certification, indicating that you finished during a pandemic, and one should maybe not expect everything from you that one would had you not gone through that. But that's not how my colleagues operate. That would not be the expectation you would have, right? You are professionals in every sense of the word. Dr. Krajek talked a little bit about the meaning of the pinning ceremony. My favorite event, this is my 40th year in education, counting high school and higher ed. And my most favorite event is always graduation. That's what we work towards. But during my starting third year with Navarro College now, I've become very fond of the pinning ceremonies. The history and tradition, which started during the Crusades in the 12th century, with the Knights Order of St. John the Baptist, who when they would initiate monks into the order, they would have them take an oath, as you will, that they will tend to those who can't tend to themselves. And at the end of that ceremony, they presented them with a Maltese cross, which symbolized the oath and the commitment, which was the beginning of the pinning ceremony. And it was the first time that individuals who took care of others were recognized with some type of badge. The modern ceremony has its roots 1860, when Florence Nightingale was presented the Red Cross of St. George for her heroic work. She was so taken by that honor that she decided she would, at each graduation ceremony, give a medal to her outstanding graduates. So the symbolism of today means many things. As Dr. Krajcek said, it represents your hard work and your dedication throughout your journey. It represents your transition from a student to a professional. And it represents the oath that you will take to ensure that those who can't assist themselves will be assisted by you. We are extremely proud of you at Navarro College. We expect great things from you, and we know that you will be successful. What I want you to remember is two things. One, you always have a home, a place to come back to with Navarro College, with outstanding professionals who will be there for you. And secondly, in everything that you do, both personally and professionally, you make sure that you do it with a great deal of bulldog pride. I would be remiss if I didn't close by saying my wife would be very impressed with the shoe game that's occurring here today, okay? Very impressive to all of you, all right? Again, welcome to today's pinning ceremony, but most importantly, congratulations to you.
Hello. You guys look beautiful. It's hard to recognize you with fixed hair and nice clothes and a mask, but I'm thrilled that you're all here, and I want to thank the college for letting us have this, because this is also one of my favorite things to do, and especially this year, I wanted to be able to see you and look you in the eye and tell you congratulations, because, okay, can we just talk about fieldwork and a pandemic for just a minute? Guys, I will never forget your class, that's for sure. Just so Dr. Fagan and Dr. Haynes know, these guys weren't in classes. They are in full-time clinicals in March. So January through May, they are expected to do full-time, full-hour, 40-hour-week clinicals. So when this hit in March, there's 37 of them. We had 8 left in clinical by the time I got notified that everybody had to be kicked out. And so nobody panicked too hard. There were some tears. There were lots of phone calls. But they were all so professional. Nobody fell apart completely. I fell apart not completely. Is Jasmine here? Was it you I was talking to where you're like, Miss Huff, are you okay? Because I was like hysterical on the phone with you. I don't know if it was you or maybe it was PJ. I can't remember. Was it you, PJ? It was about 9:30 at night, and you were like, Miss Huff, week 4 is really week 2. And I was like, what? And I just started laughing hysterically, and you were like, are you okay? It's like, no, I am not. When week 4 is really week 2, there's a problem. Because we couldn't figure out how to count hours because ACOT was not cutting us any slack. And we had people saying, well, they can come on Tuesdays, but not Fridays, but come next week, but not the next week. And it was a zoo. And I had to, get together with you guys and figure out, when will you graduate? And it was a big mystery. So crazy, just sheer madness. But is Shatavia here? Shatavia was the last one to get finished. Poor thing had to wait and wait and wait and wait. And you know what? She blew it out of the water. Was it 6 weeks you had to wait? It was a long time. From when her original placement said, don't come back, to when another placement was available, was about 6 weeks. She went in there and she rocked it after being out of clinical for 6 weeks. So kudos to you. So I just wanted to congratulate you and so happy to see you here. Some of you guys have already tested and passed. Who's already passed? Several of you guys. Some people already have jobs. I mean, you will be the most resilient therapist we've ever graduated. You will. This has been a nightmare for you guys, but it's going to serve you well. So congratulations on just making it through. All right, so I'm going to give out some Fieldwork awards and some academic awards. The first one is called our Fieldwork Rockstar Awards, and we give one to one person from each campus. And we collectively decide this. Even though I do most of the site visits, it's a small world, so even if I'm not doing your site visits, a lot of times we'll hear back from people just, to our faculty about how you guys are doing. So this isn't just about me deciding, it's from all of us. And these two students, I go to their clinical site visits, and the coordinators are like, what are we supposed to teach them? They already know everything. You guys have done such a phenomenal job teaching them and getting them ready. Well, what are we supposed to do? And they're like, they're ready, they're hireable. And I'm speaking for both of these students when I went and did their site visits. So the first one, Jason Rhodes. Jason had a hard time with one of his placements because he couldn't make them happy with the paperwork. It's like he would turn it in, they'd go, oh no, we need this. He'd turn it in, no, we need this. And he was just patient, and he was like, I'm gonna do it, Miss Huff, I got this. And that kind of willingness to be flexible and go with the flow is gonna serve you well. You've gotta be able to do that and be a good therapist. The other one, Selena Williams. Again, when I went and did her site visit, it was with one of our alumni, and he was like, she should be teaching me. I mean, she's fabulous. Fabulous. And also with her placement for the VA, couldn't make them happy with the paperwork. And she's even vetted by them and still couldn't make them happy. But she was like, Miss Huff, I got it. I'm at their office. I got this. So again, your willingness to just roll with it and do what needs to be done will serve you well. So the other awards are Student of the Year, and these are students who we just feel like represent a well-rounded therapist, a well-rounded student, does great in the classroom, did great in field work, and I really feel bad that I can't give all of you an award because you all did so great in field work. So, but we have to narrow it down. For Midlothian, Alyssa Nelson, who I don't think's here, right? Alyssa did great. She's a great student. She also had to wait a long time for her second placement and had a great attitude about it. And then once she got there, she did great. So Alyssa, if you're watching, congratulations. The other one, Camry, Miss Camry Hale. Camry is a great student, and she also had an adventure in fieldwork with her placements. Even before the pandemic, we couldn't get her straightened out because she wanted to do them in Beaumont, in her hometown, which is fine. We place students all over the U.S. sometimes. We've got them in New Jersey and L.A., and you'd think if I could find a placement in New Jersey and L.A., I could find one in Beaumont, but it wasn't happening for the longest time. And, but we did, and their first placement wanted to hire her, and they said, can we just keep her for the second rotation? I was like, nope, can't do that, but that's how much they loved her. And then we couldn't find one, and I was like, you're just gonna have to come back up to the DFW area. I don't know what to tell you. There's just nothing happening in Beaumont. So she did. She packed up. Literally the night before she was supposed to start, they canceled on her. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, Camry. I don't know what's happening here with your placements. And she was like, I was like, I'll figure it out. Just get up here, I'll figure it out. And then, so the sister site took her. She was there for like 10 days, and then the other site said, no, we want her back. So, I don't know. You had like 10 placements, it seems like. Yeah, it was crazy. Okay. Then the last award is valedictorian. Obviously, we know what that is, students with the highest GPA. These students did phenomenal in their field work as well. Just when I do their site visits, they're like, let's hire them. We want them. When can we hire them? So from Midlothian, China Avery. And in Corsicana, Ashley Nolan. So I want to encourage you guys, if you are our Facebook people, to join our alumni group. It's called Navarro OTA Grads. It's not associated in any official capacity with Navarro. I set it up a few years ago, and it is a great way to network because there's grads that have been alumni for 20 years on there, and they'll give you ideas for job sites, they'll give you ideas for treatment, they'll give you ideas for continuing ed. It's really just a good place to network. So consider doing that. All you have to do is request it, and I'm the admin on it, and I'll accept you. It's strictly for alumni. So if you have OT friends that want to join that aren't alumni, I don't let them in. The other thing is to pay it forward in a couple of years when I call you and say, hey, do you want a student? Remember that people did this for you, and so hopefully you'll do it for somebody else. Congratulations.
All right, so when I call your name, please come forward to receive your pin. Cherry Alvarez, Coda. China Avery. Brittany Bogus. Daisy Castro Rosales. Annie Clayton. Kim Collins. Kristen Kramer. Patricia Dial. Jennifer Dodson. Katie Gillespie. Skylar Grant. Lindsay Harris. Camry Helm. Dominic Hicks. Ifatu Ekeneme. Ivy Jones. Bailey King. Heidi Longer, Coda. Tyra Lusk. Rebecca Malone, Coda. Delaney McPherson. Alyssa Nelson. Ashley Noland, Coda. Jasmine Price. Jason Rhodes. Lauren Shelton. Keela Smith. Karina Sotelo. Karen Tafoya. Marissa Teal. Brittany Vanderwilt. Charity Wallace. Shatavia Walton. Stacy Watson. Katrina Webb Coda. Selena Williams. Maria Zuniga Hernandez. Now Mrs. McLeod will do the affirmation of ethics.
Would the class of 2020 please stand? And your SOTA presidents are going to come and lead you in the affirmations of your ethical principles.
Hi, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take my mask off so you guys can hear me a little better. Okay, the first one, beneficence. Occupational therapy personnel shall demonstrate a concern for well-being and safety of the recipients of their services. If it is our intention to abide by this principle, say, I will. I will. Principle 2. If I can find it, hold on 1 minute. Non-maleficence. Occupational therapy personnel shall refrain from actions that cause harm. If it is our intention to aid by this principle, say, I will. I will. Principle 3. Occupational therapy personnel shall respect the right of the individual to self-determination, privacy, confidentiality, and consent. If it is our intention to aid by this principle, say, I will. I will. Okay.
So principle number 4 is justice. Occupational therapy personnel shall promote fairness and objectivity in the provision of occupational therapy services. If it is our intention to abide by this principle, say, I will. I will. Our principle number 5 is veracity. Occupational personnel shall provide comprehensive, accurate, and objective information when presenting the profession. If it is our intention to abide by this principle, say, I will. I will. And number 6, fidelity. Occupational therapy personnel shall treat clients, colleagues, and other professionals with respect, fairness, discretion, and integrity. If it is our intention to abide by this principle, say, I will. I will.
You can have a seat. We've invited Dean Featherston, our Dean of Health Professions, to the ceremony this afternoon because we thought that he could give you all some closing words of encouragement. So, Dean Featherston.
Thank you, Dr. Kreitzer. You notice that she said words of encouragement, not words of wisdom. 2 years ago, I met most of you for the very first time, probably in this room, correct? No? Over there, some other room. I met you 2 years ago for the first time. And we talked about what it would take to be at today's ceremony. We talked about commitment and determination and dedication. I probably said words something similar to you that during the next 2 years, it's going to take 100% of your time and your effort and your motivation to succeed. Well, I believe I lied. Because if there is a class that has demonstrated it takes more than 100%, if that's mathematically possible to do, you today represent that class. Because 100% said no COVID, no restructured clinicals, no start in Beaumont, end up in Dallas, no go 2 weeks, wait 6 weeks, do something else, no juggle, my kids can't go to school anymore, I've got my parents living with us. None of those things were part of the 100% that I said it would take. It required more than that. And you did those things to be here. You did that, your faculty did that, your families did that to make this opportunity happen today. So for you families at home watching, thank you for the last 2 years of commitment to your family members. And thank you specifically for the last 6 months of what it's taken to help your family members get here today. We could not and we would not have done it without you. So here we are at the pinning ceremony, the conclusion of your, and this is what again makes it a little bit surreal. We normally have this conversation and then we go into graduation in 24 to 48 hours. But we're not having that graduation ceremony. But you are here today and it is the culmination of a lifetime's worth of dreams and hopes and aspirations. But I will tell you this. I am not a prognosticator. I cannot predict the future. I can't tell you what's going to happen to our communities, our country, as we move through this pandemic and we move into whatever the next pandemic might be in our lives. But I can tell you that it's going to take the same amount of determination, resilience, and drive to succeed at what that next level is. Right now, I notice even in today's ceremony, there are things that we miss. All right, we did the pinnings, we did the awards, but now we're doing high fives. And I know good and well, because I've been to pinning ceremonies in the past, they wanted to hug you, and you wanted to hug them. But that's the world we're living in. And I probably miss that more than anything at the moment. I can wear a mask, that doesn't bother me, I can get over that. But I miss hugging people. I miss Dr. Kreitzer probably likes this because she doesn't like me to hug her, so I hug everybody but her. But everybody else, that's just part of who we are, so we're adapting to a new world. You will be adapting to a new world in your profession, right? The way we interact, the way we engage with patients is going to change. But what's not going to change are the same things that I told you 2 years ago, that being a healthcare professional, being a certified occupational therapy assistant, requires you at times to put the needs of the patient ahead of your own. Now, that don't mean we act unrationally or rashly, but that means we're putting the needs of the patients ahead of our own needs. The pledge that you just took, those could be just simple words. Oh yeah, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. But as I was listening to that pledge, do no harm. There's a fancier word for that, right? Always take care of the patient. Do what's in the patient's best interest. That's what you're going to be asked to do. And as the world changes, and as the way we go about doing our business changes, those principles don't change. Let me put it this way. As challenging as the last 6 months have been to us, I can promise you this. this is going to be a blip on your life's radar. You're going to look back 15, 20 years from now and say, oh, remember that time for 6 months or 9 months or a year or whatever it happened to be when we had to do all these things? This is going to be a blip. What's not going to be a blip is the experiences that you had here at Navarro College, the experiences that you had in your clinical opportunities, the experiences that you had with your professors here, because that's going to stay with you forever. And I will tell you that I look forward to you being my therapist when the time comes. And I'm going to be so excited because I'm going to ask you, where did you go to school? And I do that already with nurses. Where did you go to school? And I want to hear Navarro College because I know what these people do and I know what you go through to get to the point today. So whether you continue on as an occupational therapy assistant or you desire to move up in the profession and complete further degrees, which we're all going to have to do, cherish the memories and times you have here at Navarro College. We're going to forget about, oh, I started in Beaumont and I ended up in Dallas. Those are things that happen. They oftentimes don't ask sea captains, what was your experience getting from country A to country B? They just want to know that you got there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got here today. We're going to forget all the pain and the misery and the suffering. We're going to remember that we got here, and more importantly, where we go from here. So I look forward to seeing all of you. I look forward to seeing all of you without masks. I look forward to hugging you when that opportunity arises again. For our COTAs right now, I know we asked before, I'd like our COTAs to stand right now. Those of you that have already passed your exam, stand up. All right, keep standing. Everybody else, look at them. If you haven't already looked at them, they are showing you that it can be done. They are showing you, even in the midst of all the stuff we had to do and all the things we had to modify and make changes and make adjustments, they show the path. They lighted the way. It can be done. You will do it, and we will all succeed for it. So thank you. You can sit back down. There's a couple more people who are really integral to the success of this program, and I certainly am not one of those. It's your faculty members here that helped you get to this point. But I'd like to introduce Dr. Carol Haynes, the Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Haynes provides the leadership for the entire academic division here at Navarro College. So she's the one under Dr. Fagan's leadership that sets the stage, that sets the directives, that helps us accomplish the things, and I certainly would have no success without her. And Ms. Patricia Binger, who's the Director of Operations for Health Professions. If you got registered for a class, Ms. Patricia Binger was probably involved in that process, all right, in the application process, and makes sure all the nuts and bolts of work occurs to make sure you get here today. The last thing I have to share with you is this. You may or you may not be a person of faith, and I'll leave that to your own discretion, but I am. And I believe, just like we talked about 2 years ago, there were people that wanted to be in your seat during that orientation session that for whatever reason weren't there. Well, 2 years later, there are people that want to be in the seat that you're in today that for whatever reason aren't here. I believe you're here as a person of faith because I believe that all things work together for good for those that love God, for those that are called according to His purpose. Your purpose in life, ladies and gentlemen, is to be a healthcare provider, to be an occupational therapy assistant. That's why you're here. Now, go and fulfill your purpose. In a year, we will have graduation ceremonies at Navarro College. We didn't get to do it this year. We will do it next year, God willing. I want you to come back and participate in the graduation ceremonies at Navarro College in May. We'll have a space for you. I want you to hold on to your pin. I want you to hold on to the ribbon that your pin is on, because I want you to put that on your gown next year so I'll know who you are when you walk across that stage, and we can give you a hug at that point in time. Fair enough? You'll do that for me? All right. the last thing I told you when we met that very first time, when I talked about all the wonderful things that Navarro College has to offer our students, and we talked about things like football and basketball games and wonderful choirs and outstanding drama departments, and we have an amazing band, and as I probably told you before, they used to be horrid, but they're amazing now. I said, we've got wonderful museums. You're sitting in the Cook Center now. We've got museums right there. But I said, if you recall, you're not going to get to see any of those because you're going to be too busy in the class, in the skills lab, in the clinicals. Well, now you're graduated. Come back. Let's see you at a football game, which, of course, won't be in the fall because we moved all that to the spring. Come back and visit the museums. Come hear one of our band choirs. You are always Navarro College alumni, and we are so proud of you. That concludes this morning's pinning ceremony. I know there's some refreshments in the back. If you haven't already got those, feel free to partake of those. I think they're going to do a group picture here in a little while. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of you. I don't know what it took this last 2 years, and specifically the last 6 months to get through this. Only you know and your families know. But we are so very proud of what you've accomplished, and I'm even more excited about what you will accomplish in the future. God bless and thank you.